Bully QB. Bully QB. We're going to double up on QB here. Now, I started the draft before you all jumped in here because I want to make sure I don't get sniped as I go, but we can definitely, I'll drop a link at the end of this live stream if we don't do 2 drafts. I'll drop a link at the end of this live stream and do a private league. But please jump in and draft alongside of me using code Smitty. The link is right here. Draft alongside and deploy this strategy and strategies like it or whatever alongside of your boy as we draft. Okay, so everybody hit that link, do it live, file on in. The Fantasy Football Show begins now. I'm almost on the clock.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks. And, we may abort this. The one thing I always tell people is, you always want to go in with the plan. Sure. But you want to abort a plan of attack if it doesn't look good. If it doesn't look good, you don't just force it. Code Smitty, link is in the description. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm on the clock, where I'm going to deploy double QBs in a 1 QB. Now, the essential premise of this is, for anybody new to it, and there's different definitions, there's different ways people deploy it. What I like to say is we bully the quarterback position in a 1 QB where in a normal non-best ball, you can't predict who's going to outscore who, and so it makes it really tough to do double QBs. Let's see here. Man, this is a tough one. I really like Gibbs here. I want Puka bad at this spot, but I'm going to go Gibbs. But basically, you have 2 QBs, right? And you're going to not have to decide who to start each week because it's best ball. The optimal scoring starts the best quarterback for you. So you can't really screw it up. The reason you don't do this in a regular non-best ball setting is you're going to draft 2 elite quarterbacks. Let's say you take Burrow and Mahomes. You're going to screw it up every single week. Jump into your own draft, deploy your own strategy alongside of your boy. Doesn't look like Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to fall. That's okay. We'll see who I get here. Tempted to go double RB here and try bully quarterback with it. I don't know if that's smart. You almost have to go balanced approach. Let's see. If London falls, I don't mind London here. London and Gibbs is pretty damn good. I wonder if London's going to get snagged right here. Wide receivers are always getting doubled up. So it's very, very possible London gets snagged right here. Maybe he'll go RB. He goes Drake London. So Devontae Adams is older. I don't love him. This is going to be so. Maybe I go double QB, but later. This is the adjust and adapt in me. I'm going to go Gibbs and Kyron. I believe in Kyron. People that don't like Kyron, then don't like him. Let me draft him. I don't care. This is unbelievable. The fact that you can even draft these 2 guys on the same team without doing any trading at all is remarkable. Because Kyron Williams is essentially, in my mind, the best bet to be the rushing leader in the National Football League in 2024. The phone lines are closed, but this is a Mars man, so he gets to break through. Real quickly, Purdue, let me answer your question. I'm going to get back to this, but what can I do for you, my guy? You got a Mars man card, so you broke through the closed phone line. What can I do for you?
Sorry, Smitty.
No.
I just saw Marvin Harrison going there, 1.12.
Yeah.
I got to say, following Harrison for years, I'm all on board with Harrison. I think he's going to be amazing. But is this not a little bit too much credit before we've even seen anything for this guy in the NFL yet? I don't know. Are we putting a little too much hype in here?
Well, first of all, we haven't hyped this. This is the natural order of it. It's had nothing to do with us. We didn't hype up the value or anything. This has been quick from the jump. Look, it's one of those things where you either believe in him or you don't. And the way this guy's operating, even with the combine not doing it, with the pro days not doing it, preparing for the NFL while everybody else is playing checkers, I don't know. He's ahead of the game at every single turn. Doesn't sign the NFLPA or the Fanatics deal. Everybody else does. Like, this guy's literally playing pro football and no one else is yet. You know what I'm saying? So, like, at the same time, he's ahead of everybody at every turn. He is so far advanced. I'm not scared. I think if he climbs higher, like, think about who we're drafting him ahead of. Drake London. I love Drake London, but A.J. Brown, Ayuk, Adams, Olave, Debo, Mike Evans. I don't think we're getting into scary territory yet. He starts going ahead of Amon-Ra and Puka, and that's different. Like, Garrett Wilson and him are about even for me. I think a 1,400 yard, 14 TD season feels very likely for Marvin Harrison Jr. At least a 10 to 12 touchdown season, 1,300 yards, let's call it. And that's going to earn what you're paying here. Like, if he doesn't get hurt, he gets you what you're putting in. Now, the question is, will he explode over value? The other thing, though, is what wide receiver here is going to do that. So you're kind of getting what you pay for, I think, right here. Also, best ball is very wide receiver heavy. So you're not going to have this happen in your mom and pop league. In ESPN drafts, he probably falls to the mid-second to late second, but you never know. So remember, this is very wide receiver heavy. You're talking about him being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's the 8th wide receiver taken, Purdue. That's not actually that high. It just so happens that on best ball, it's all wide receiver in the first round practically. Is wide receiver 8 really crazy? No. It's just best ball pricing is getting you thrown for a loop.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm honestly so stoked for him. I'm happy for you that he's on your Cardinals. Like, super awesome. He's got the talent. He's got the pedigree. Like, he could be one of the. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but one of the.
No, you can
ever seen.
You can get ahead of yourself. You can get ahead of yourself. Drop it. Speak it into existence. He could be Purdue. I don't know if you've seen, but he's my number one overall ranked wide receiver in Dynasty already.
Oh, for sure. He's been
Already.
on the top of my list for two years at least. He's been like, I've been waiting for this. So I just wanted to make sure we weren't, like getting too hyped and getting too, in emotions. And but it sounds like, I think he's the real deal. So
yeah.
I know he's the real deal. I've been watching him. We've been watching him. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Smitty. Jump in there.
Later. Call in if you got another one in a minute. Purdue, call back in. Okay, so I was going to go Devontae Smith because I'm planning on maybe taking Hurts with this next pick. And I was very tempted to have Devontae Smith, and Hurts would have been fantastic. But DK's a great wide receiver one with this strategy. I'm not scared at all to go Hurts right here. So Mahomes went early. Ooh, wow. Okay. So my bully quarterback strategy is probably going to involve Burrow or CJ Stroud. I will admit my intention was to go bully QB using Hurts and Mahomes if I could get the right draft slot for that, but I would need a 5th rounder that was in the 49, 50, 51 overall to even have a shot at that. And I didn't know that I'd be drafting with someone who was going to take the Kelsey Mahomes stack right there, which makes sense. It's not a horrible move. But right there, I mean, come on. Like, if I'm doing bully QB, and I might abort, because, again, I'm best player available. You do not force a strategy. I do occasionally force a strategy to show implementation of something. So I think it's going to be hard for me to not force it a little bit here. And I think when all things are equal, I definitely go with, a plan of attack. And I think it's going to be pretty close to being all things being equal when I'm on the clock at one of these picks. But as you can see, you can do bully quarterback from rounds 4 on. You don't have to use a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round pick. And I might abort. Let's see here. Trey McBride. Code Smitty. Link in the description. Link in the live chat. Going to drop it right now. Deploy your own bully quarterback right now alongside of me. And this isn't an approach you probably want to even do in a sniping situation either. to be frank, because you start sniping and double up, you're probably getting screwed. Like, that's why I started this draft before I even went live, because I didn't, and it was, going right when I was live, because I didn't want anybody to step into the draft, and I wanted to have a nice little untainted snipe little sesh here. So looks like quarterbacks are going a little bit quicker in this draft than you would think. Josh Allen went top of round 3. Mahomes went at the beginning of 4. I took Hurts. CJ Stroud's gone in round 4. Sometimes these guys fall a little bit later. It could be that bully quarterback doesn't even work well with this particular fall of the draft. And you got to adjust and adapt to that. You just do another draft. So, yeah, and I see a couple of people thinking DK. People are wondering why I like DK this year. I mean, how could you not like DK, to be honest? I mean, DK's a damn good player. And if you're going to go really light wide receiver shopping, DK Metcalf has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with at least 6 and 8 touchdowns. Last year, he had 11, 14, and 8. And he only had 66 receptions. So if he gets more, they're going to go vertical. This is a Ryan Grubb, offensive coordinator from Washington, Penix Jr.'s offensive coordinator, which is why we thought Seattle might draft Penix Jr., and they probably would have if he'd fallen. And Penix Jr. had an aerial attack handed to him offensively. So this is going to be, I believe Sam Howell gets in there at some point, but this is going to be an air it out type of situation. I don't know. I don't know who I'd rather have, Dino or Howell in there. Because Howell misused Dotson so much, I guess I'm a little pissed off at him. But he does throw a solid deep ball. I think his first game starting in 2022 at the tail end before he went into his starting year last year, I believe his first game, I think the first half, he broke the Washington Commanders record for an air yard pass his very first game. So he does know how to throw the football downfield. So give me the OC that helped Penix Jr. and Adunze and this entire Washington team just explode. Give me DK all day long with Ryan Grubb. I think DK is one of the craftiest round 3 players. I like Devontae Smith a little bit better, but I like this. The squad's looking good. Coming up on my pick here, you guys see my team in column 10. From the 10 spot, I'm on the clock now. Anthony Richardson just went. I don't know if that guy's watching, because that was kind of like timed in a way that, I don't know. It looks like everybody's sliding off the board. I don't even know. I might have to go early quarterback on this next pick. So I'm going to go Andrews here. Very balanced. The question is, can I pull off a bully quarterback with like a Jordan Love later? Which really isn't bully. It's kind of just like you're taking your backup a little bit earlier and you're kind of aborting the full bowl. But this is how you want to see me do it. You want to see, when do you do it? How do you do it? Do you force it? No. Do you have to deploy it with the Hurts and Mahomes? No. And Anthony Richardson would have been my pick. But this guy took him a wee bit early. I don't know if he's watching. Now, I could go wide receiver here. I don't know that I love the wide receivers at this territory. I almost feel just as capable of grabbing one of the guys about 12 to 15 wide receiver spots down. Running backs, I like a couple, but I'm going to go ahead. There's not a lot. I'm not doing any stacking here is the only problem, but let's go Joe Burrow. Here's our bully quarterback. Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Mark Andrews, DK Metcalf, light at wide receiver, but that's okay. Kyron Gibbs, fantastic bully quarterback approach, done very delicately, done very, very balanced like, And the only time I feel really, really good about drafting bully quarterback is when I do kind of feel a sense of balance to my draft. You know what I mean? Like you want to be able to weather through, okay, I'm not going to get a wide receiver for a little while, right? If I go QB here, especially when I went Mark Andrews. But I mean, damn, that's a really balanced approach. I'm covered at every position. I'm doubled up at running back. I'm doubled up at quarterback. You can only start one quarterback, but I'm going to dominate the quarterback amount of points each week. And the thing about bully too, the kind of the reference of bully quarterback, you're bullying everybody in this draft. 11 other teams, you're taking away one of the weapons. Someone probably thought this guy's got Hurts. He's not going to draft Joe Burrow. He'll fall. Not in a draft. If you're going bully, you're taking it away. And so I'm bullying the position too. I'm bullying the draft board. I'm bullying everybody by taking one of the QBs. And then now I'm probably dominating scoring at that position. I'm probably dominating scoring at the running back position. I'm probably very competitive if Mark Andrews stays healthy at the tight end position. And dare I say, I believe enough in my approach at wide receiver, given only 2 wide receivers have gone so far since my Joe Burrow pick. I'm feeling really good about the wide receiver pool being still kind of untapped to the degree it was when I was back on the clock. I didn't really want Chris Godwin. I like Worthy and Coleman. Those are 2 players I would have definitely considered taking. So it's not like all 4 of the wide receivers that have gone have not been on my list. They have, but I fully expected that to happen, and I'm feeling very comfortable when we get back that we'll have tons of options on the board that I like. Calvin Ridley goes. I imagine a quarterback or 2 will go. But sometimes, like the guy from the 2 slot, he may feel the need to grab a quarterback. He may just say, you know what, everybody's scooped up him. I'm just going to wait. You know, my guy's gone. Or they panic. So these 2 guys could go bully. It's not even bully quarterback anymore, really, but they could double up on QB here or probably just scoop up wide receivers, which is what everybody seems to do. But it's not going to scare me away. I don't feel like this is going to be a mistake in hindsight at all. Joe Burrow versus who would I have taken? Probably Worthy, I suppose. I'll replace Worthy way easier than I'll replace Burrow as that bully prospect. Yeah. I like this team. Aaron Jones, not 1 wide receiver's gone yet. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have gone since my Burrow pick. I don't think I'm losing ground here at wide receiver. The guy I want is still significantly down range a little bit on the wide receiver ranking when I sort by wide receivers. And he didn't get taken there because that's a tight end. Now 1 wide receiver's gone in round 7. This is what you call drafting against traffic too. You know, I take Joe Burrow. All of a sudden, we've only seen 4 wide receivers go. So I'm going against traffic. Now I go dip into the wide receiver pool, and it's not that much thinned out from when I was on the clock with Joe Burrow. Let's see here. Lad McConkey. My guy's still there. Man, my boy Rashee Rice is still there. Just kidding. So this is going to be like, what do I do here? Do I take JSN here? I'm putting a lot of eggs in the basket of the Seattle Seahawks, though, but I do think they're going to air it out, and it does kind of protect me in a way. Or do I go Hopkins? Hopkins or JSN? JSN or Hopkins? Jeez. I'm just going to do it. It's going to put a lot of a lot of eggs in one basket, but let's go JSN. Let's go JSN. We're kind of banking on that, but I'm not going to stop there, right? I could definitely grab. I'm definitely going to grab somebody else that I really, really like as an upside guy. I think I'm going to be okay with my wide receiver room. Fields has more dynasty value than Howell. Yes, he does. Sick nasty. 100%. Might take Hopkins here. Addison or Hopkins? Addison or Hopkins? Or Jameson Williams? Addison, Hopkins, Jameson Williams. Hurry, there's about a 10-second delay, so I got to ask you that ahead of time. What do you guys think? Drop your pick here. Rock out. Hopkins, Addison, or Jameson Williams?
Addison.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of need to do that at this point, because if JSN ends up screwing me here, as much as you know what I mean, like if that ends up being a bad pick, this ends up being pretty solid. I have zero weakness at quarterback. I have zero weakness at tight end. I have zero weakness at running back. I have, I think, a very formidable wide receiver room that's very underrated. But very risky. Like, you're going to have risk somewhere when you do something unorthodox and stack your RBs back-to-back in rounds 1 and 2. You're going to have a slightly different looking team. So it's hilarious when someone comes into a draft like this and goes, your wide receivers are light. Like, no shit. Like, I get it.
Stronger
I get it.
Everywhere else.
I get it, Bob. I get it. I'm not supposed to dominate at wide receiver too. How you doing that? You can't trade. I didn't trade up and get extra picks.
Dominating everywhere else.
Yeah. So this is a pretty good looking squad, don't you think? Gibbs, Kyren, DK, Hurts, Mark Andrews, Joe Burrow, bully quarterbacks, JSN, Jordan Addison. It's crafty.
Yeah, I like that build. I was wondering how the double running back would work with those two.
Man, my boy Jonathan Brooks just went. That's right.
Yep.
Jonathan Brooks just went. That sucks.
It's all right.
I mean, I'm so good at RB. I'm not too concerned about it, but I definitely was interested in that.
Yep, you're good.
Curtis Samuel, now it's back on the top of round 9, swinging back to me. Jameson, damn it. I was really hoping Jameson Williams was going to somehow fall. I didn't think he would, but if he fell back, I'd be loving my wide receiver room in a very underrated way. I don't think Benson can last, but I don't even know if I'd be tempted to go.
I mean, if he's there,
I'd be tempted to go another wide receiver anyway, but I mean, Caleb Williams, Kyler was a good pick. If you want to do a lighter version of bully quarterback, just take Kyler in round 8. You know what I mean? There's Benson. Take Kyler in round 8, and you'll be just fine trying to like a lighter version. It's like a bully quarterback light.
the bully light.
Yeah. No, Benson was going to make it back, Tebow. He was the highest ranked running back at that spot. Okay, so at this point, I got Jalen Hurts. I don't have much stacking going on. And Andrews is a little bit of an injury risk. So I may grab Goddard at the next pick. If not, I'll be plenty happy with like Bowers if he ends up going. Let's see if this guy takes a tight. If this guy takes a tight end, I might be forced to make the move now. And Njoku. Oh, well, he took one below those guys. Okay, so I'm almost on the clock here. What's this guy going to do? Javante. I think with 4 picks left, 2
What do you wanna
teams.
do?
I think Goddard is the second-ranked tight end. I think I can pass on that. Let me just go to the wide receivers. Travis, do you like Dotson here, who's a little bit of a reach?
Nah, I like Dotson.
I don't really have much time. I'm just going to go Dotson. Just kind of get another wide
And do
receiver.
it. Yeah,
Dawson's
do
good
it.
for your build.
Yeah, I'll go Dotson.
And with the fact that you were able to get JSN and DK, that works if one of them got hurt, and then DK and Addison as your top 2 wide receivers is not that bad.
No.
I mean,
Okay.
like if you look at what they did last year.
Do I go JSN? Oh, he just went. Damn it. Or, I'm sorry, Jaden Daniels. He just went. I'm going to go Goddard here and get a little stackage.
Okay.
And
Get a little security.
so I'm doubled up at tight end. I'm doubled up at quarterback. I'm doubled up at RB, which technically not doubled up because you're starting both of them. But I've got my wide receiver room kind of handled. I think like it's a light version of a lot of other people's maybe. But I mean DK, JSN, and that kind of serves 2 purposes. Like I know people are going to say you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket, but Ryan Grubb should have a pretty nice aerial attack, and they can both survive. And then, like you said, if one gets hurt, then one of them gets better. But I'm not necessarily rooting for one to get hurt, but that's kind of the nature of that. Addison, still very productive. I don't know what this is going to look like in Minnesota, but Dotson, I think. See what happens here. A quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks. There's so many quarterbacks still left. Yeah, I'll be looking at a couple of those. You guys are giving some good suggestions in the chat. I'm looking at some of those guys. I feel like there's 1 or 2 guys that are maybe in this draft watching or something. Sometimes people pull up the stream, after they see the fantasy football show and they know. So I'm gonna keep my next couple of picks quiet because I feel like I'm getting myself sniped a little bit. Tyler, you're live. What's up, Tyler?
Yeah, quick question. Thoughts on Worthy of Rice to goofball the entire year?
Thoughts on Worthy if Rice is out the entire year? I think he immediately becomes more valuable because, he's gonna be thrown to the wolves. I think what I kind of think of him like is Christian Watson. When Christian Watson's rookie year, not last year, but his rookie year, he got thrown to the wolves. He made a lot of mistakes, dropped a lot of balls, turned the wrong direction, but trial by fire, and Aaron Rodgers and him were on the same team by the end of the year, and they were blowing up. So I got sniped on my Blake Corum, who was very much down way away. He was like 10 running backs down, so that guy snagged him. Probably one of ours, which is always a shame. That's right.
That's lame if someone's watching and sniping you.
I know.
You're trying to do a certain
Especially if they're a fan of the show.
What would you suggest him as like a casual redraft?
Worthy? Wide receiver.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 3, but like in a rotation. You got Jameson and Worthy. You got Addison and Worthy. As your wide receiver 3. Like Jordan Addison and Worthy would have been fun as my wide receiver 3. So, but I'm not going near Rashee Rice. Not even going near him. Oh, there's no scenario you can paint for me that he's valuable enough to draft. Why? Because their players safer.
I'm curious because everybody's saying like, oh, Rice. Worthy's not doing anything because he's dropping balls, and I'm like, well, Chase dropped everything his first 2 practices, and now he's one of the best players.
Yeah, but that was before this nightclub incident Monday night. This isn't like back in the past. This is something that was, recent as of Monday. So, this guy's in some trouble, bro. He's in some major trouble. Hold on a second. Gabe Davis. I don't necessarily need to go wide receiver here. I'm doing pretty good. I need some RBs probably. Charbonnet, Ford, Jalen Wright. Which one, fellas? Quick.
Jalen Wright.
Yeah.
Thanks, Smitty.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. You can hang out if you want. Just put it on mute, and then if you got a question, ask away.
I guess Ford is starting the season, but
yeah.
See what happens there.
Yeah, I could go Ford here. Marshawn Lloyd, Ford, Kendre Miller. Go ahead and mute real quick if you could, whoever's rustling around there. Leggett, Ricky Parasol. Leggett, Ricky Parasol, Marshawn Lloyd, Jerome Ford, Kendre Miller, or go quarterback, which I don't necessarily need to, but
I take one of the wide receivers.
Maybe I'll go Leggett.
I think one of those running backs will be there next round and around.
I'll go Leggett. Leggett or Parasol?
Leggett.
Yeah. I think Parasol is he's tough to draft in best ball, even if it's not eliminator, because you may not get anything all year. He's like you got Jennings ahead of him right now. Like, how is Jennings he catches like 6 to 10 passes a year? Like, how's Ricky Parasol going to walk into that role and catch 70? So really what it comes down to is like Ricky needs an injury, which could happen to Brandon Ayuk. No, sorry, Niner fans, but the longer he holds out, the more likely he is to get injured. Doesn't matter if he's working out on the side. It's not the same at all. This team real quickly. Hold on one second. Let me just go over this team real quick. Gibbs, Kyron. I'm in the 10th column, slot number 10. Gibbs, Kyron, DK, Jalen Hurts, Mark Andrews, Joe Burrow, 1 QB. This is the bully quarterback approach. JSN, Jordan Addison, Dotson, Goddard, Jalen Wright, Xavier Leggett. I like it.
It's a good strategy with the wide receivers that you are taking. Taking wide receivers later to throw on a couple of those rookie guys or later round guys, because you want to make sure you cover yourself with wide receiver.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Josh from Cali, you're live.
Hey, what up, Smitty, man?
What's up?
I want to say thanks for these graveyard shift shows, man. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the hard work.
Doing it live.
Reviewing one of these videos I heard earlier today, you mentioned you take Dotson over Ray Rice, right? So,
Ray Rice, yeah. Ray Rice is a bad pick.
Sorry, Ray Rice.
That's correct.
Rice.
You're correct.
Rice.
You heard that live stream.
Well, no.
You heard
Are those
that.
guys the same guy to you? That's what I mean. Are those guys like is Rashid Rice just not touchable?
I mean, look. Ray Rice is about as draftable as Rashid Rice to me.
Wow.
What? Let me ask you. What would make you want to go near him?
I'm just thinking if hypothetically he only got 8 games, right? You figure, I mean, he's the Super Bowl champ. You want to get some redemption for the guy. I don't think Coach Reed just turns his back on him altogether. I feel like they'd like to get him in the mix. At some point.
Bro, let me map out why this is different than the Alvin Kamara situation. Why this is different than the other ones, and maybe this takes a turn like the Kamara one did, where it's like you think something and then it doesn't even. The thing that's different is Texas is bringing down the hammer on him from all accounts. That could change, but I don't think it's going to. And he's going to have 10 to 14 counts against him by the time this is over. On the one situation, not talking about the nightclub thing. The nightclub thing's a whole other thing, bro. Like you're almost ignoring the fact that he just allegedly, maybe this is like the Tyreek Hill thing where Tyreek Hill said someone said he assaulted somebody and everyone was freaking out, and it ended up being the video came out and he tapped the guy's hat off his head. But hold on, let me make this draft selection. We got Quentin Johnson, Luke Musgrave, Kendre Miller is pretty good here. Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk's not bad. Roman Wilson.
Wilson's solid. Kendre if you need a running back. I like the other Patriots running back better. I mean, wide receiver more.
We'll go Roman here.
Ball,
Roman here for now. Polk just went, but anyway, bro. What I'm trying to tell you is you're not even factoring in that this separate assault situation could be something severe in its own right. It may not be, but it may. And then the second thing you're not taking into account, you're just assuming that it's going to be okay. I'm telling you right now, bro, there's a really strong chance that there are 10 to 15 counts by the end of this whole thing. And he's going to plead guilty to some serious, not criminal misdemeanors, serious criminal charges, and it's going to be an automatic 1-year ban. So you're putting investment in a guy that's going next to Jordan Addison, that's going next to Najee Harris, that's going next to, even Jamison Williams, if we go even a round later, or right above Zamir White. Or no, Zamir White was after him. JSM was in front of him. Jaylen Warren right in front of him. Like, you're telling me that Rashee Rice is worth that kind of selection right now? He's not.
What
certainly
about dynasty-wise?
What's going to happen? I'll give you two scenarios. One, he gets a half-game suspension or even a year suspension this year, and he comes back missing just the one season. Then he has a shot. But what's waiting for him? Did Hollywood Brown take his spot? He's going to take Hollywood Brown out if he has magical chemistry with Mahomes, and he's working hard with him, while Rashee Rice, this bum and coward, is what he is. Walking off the freeway, leaving 4 cars, and the 2 cars that they left damaged, walking off the freeway, leaving people in their cars, maybe injured, maybe needing help. They don't know if there's going to be fires started and they need to be pulled out of the car. These cowards walked off the freeway immediately within about 15 seconds and abandoned the crash. You think that this guy is going to take Hollywood Brown's job, that's out there working and grinding on the field with Mahomes every day? And on top of that, Worthy, the draft capital, he has no shot at unseating Worthy at this point. And so what's he coming back to? Wide receiver 3? And you're judging him as the wide receiver 1 without anyone else there. And you're thinking you're getting that guy back. You're getting back the wide receiver 3 if he's gone for 1 year. And if he's not gone for 1 year, let's say, and he's going to at least get a half a year. If he gets half a year suspension, comes back, he's going to be so screwed up from it all, bro, that it's going to be really hard to have a good year. It's going to be the next year. And let's say he pushes it to 2025. That'll give you the third scenario. What's going to happen then? He's going to be screwed up all year, in and out of court, missing time. You think they're going to let him start and be a big prominent role if he's going to be on and off the field? Then he misses. So he misses this year mentally, and then he misses the entirety of the 2025 season. Dynasty, I want nothing to do with them. I want nothing to do with them.
You would take like Luke McCaffrey over him.
Probably.
Wow.
I mean, let's circle around the phone line. I mean, maybe I'm the only one that would go that far. I don't know. Let's go to Marsman Purdue. Would you take Luke McCaffrey or Rashee Rice in a dynasty?
So I've actually got Rashee Rice in dynasty, and
no one will take him.
Definitely none of this feels good. I don't know about the suspensions. I don't think he's. I mean, I'm hopeful and think. I thought he wasn't going to get more than a couple games, but as everything kind of progressed and unfolded, like when you're talking about like 8 games or season long, like that actually seems kind of realistic to me, and it kind of scares the crap out of me. So I'm hoping he doesn't get more than 6 games, but
timed out.
Same time, I know the NFL loves a redemption story. So
I timed out on Bucky Irving. Sorry, guys. Wait, what did you just say? I timed out on Bucky Irving. I didn't mean to do that. Damn it. What did you just say? You said you only think he gets how many games?
I mean, initially I was thinking it was only going to be like maybe 2 games, but as everything is kind of unfolded, and with this additional thing that's gone on with the nightclub thing, I mean, there's so much that's still up in the air. It could actually go in his favor. Like, it could unfold that there's nothing to do with him with this nightclub thing. He's totally not involved, and
well,
he gets some benefit of the doubt.
Even if that's the case, bro. Real quickly, guys, do I take JJ McCarthy, get a little stackage going there? I'm pretty solid everywhere else. Maybe I'll just go JJ McCarthy.
I was going to say McCarthy.
Do it.
Yeah, that works.
But hey, Marsman Purdue, you were very optimistic by even suggesting that things could go his way. Let's say the nightclub thing's just a nothing burger. Almost doesn't matter, bro. The crash at hand is going to probably exceed about 10 to 14 counts from everything that I gather. They're slowly going to add to it just to allow the defense to not prepare for all the counts. That's the whole strategy involved. And Texas is throwing the book at him. So I don't know if you've followed or watched the show, but at all, because I feel like maybe you haven't, because if you were optimistic, then I don't think you did watch the show. And it's okay, you're busy, but this from the jump, from the jump has looked like half a season minimum. Then the reason being is Texas they've been trying to crack down on drag racing, and this is a perfect scenario for them to shine a spotlight and make an example of somebody. There's no slipping out of this one, bro. There's no slipping. There's no paying off anybody. You can't plea to the degree you would if it was like 1 count or 2 counts, and the DA's like, look, this is going to be really hard to prosecute and have 100% like confidence that we're going to get what we want. Let's plead down to this misdemeanor and just get a win. This is not the case. He's got like 10 to 14 counts by the time this is all done. They haven't even added the counts of abandoning the crash and running away from the scene. They're waiting to throw those on. And by all accounts, they can wait. They don't have to present all those counts yet. There will be a time where they have to, but this is a minimum of a 1 year or half a year suspension. And if he pleads guilty, which he'll have to, because Purdue, this is about him staying out of prison. It's not about how many games can I skate by. He will be pleading guilty for his life. He will be pleading guilty to stay out of prison is what I'm hearing. Could I be wrong? Could this take a weird turn? Absolutely. But he will be sat down and told the cold hard truth a couple weeks and months from now. And they're going to say to him, Rishi, I know you don't really grasp what's going on here because you keep talking about how many games I'm going to miss. You don't need to worry about games missed, my guy. Let's worry about that when you're done with all this. You need to plead guilty to these charges here that are going to probably initiate a 1 year suspension because the NFL, there's policies in place, bro. You plead guilty, it's an automatic suspension. What you plead guilty to will determine the length of it, but pleading guilty to some pretty serious criminal, not criminal misdemeanor, criminal charges, the aggravated assault with the weapon being the vehicle is something that will probably get him a 1 year suspension. None of this is for sure.
Thanks, Smitty.
You what?
Sorry. Here's the thing, though. Like, you're 100% right, but at the same time, like, there's opportunity here for him to turn to change the narrative. And I know, like,
how
it looks grim. It looks grim, but at the same time, the prosecutors and the people that are looking at it, like, if they're wanting to change, like, the perspective on, like, it's the racing or whatever these other things are, like, they're gonna look for, like, the poster child of, like, here's how, like, what not to do and here's how to turn it around, and they're gonna try and somehow.
Hey, Purdue, how many shares of Rasheed Rice do you got, bro?
1,000.
I just got the one in Dynasty. Dynasty share.
It sounds like you got him. It sounds like you got an irrevocable share that you can't, that you're unable to trade. It's locked in for life. I don't know what you're saying here. That they're gonna want to give him a gift to say, here's your example of how to get out of 14 counts, let's say. I mean,
you can't. I think he's a not touch. I think he's a do not draft, do not touch until we know like what's actually going to happen with him. Obviously, I think that's just the prudent thing to do. But at the same time, like I say, you don't know if there could be a way that potentially they somehow come up with a plea deal where he does like some sort of community service or there's some sort of like thing.
Purdue, I'm not trying to. I'm not laughing at you, but it's like that's like saying, okay, a guy commits armed robbery in the NFL, and they're just going to swing in and go, hey, let's just let this one slide and let's throw an unorthodox community service, slap on the wrist on him.
At the end of the day, what are we talking about? Minor injuries to people that were not serious really at all? Like, absolutely serious situation. No denying that. Fled the scene. 100% bad look. Like, it's terrible. But the realistic implications of what happened that day was nobody was seriously hurt. He was remorseful. He was apologetic.
He was remorseful. He ran. His look. He had to apologize because they said there's a warrant for his arrest. What do you did? He didn't show up and say, "Hey, I'm sorry."
Who knows what was his system potentially that maybe he decided it was a business decision to flee the scene, and that was the better.
You're all that's why this is wild. What else?
I'm just saying.
Okay, but
when they look at it,
no, they don't.
Maybe 14,
no, listen, Purdue. It's Texas that's looking at it, not the NFL, not the PR department in the NFL going, let's spin this and give them community service. Texas law. Texas doesn't give a crap about Rashee Rice's playing career, or let's send a positive message. What we're hearing out of Texas is they're sick and tired of people speeding and crashing and killing people every day. And now you've given them the biggest spotlight they could ever have on this topic. And they're smiling ear to ear going, we're going to make an example out of this guy. And we're going to make sure everybody knows you don't speed in Texas anymore, or this is what happens to you.
I hear you, Smitty, but I think it's a bigger example if they can take a Rashee Rice and he becomes like a PR guy who says, hey, don't do what I did. And he becomes a champion for what they're doing, trying to get their message across, versus being just an example of, hey, we locked up this NFL wide receiver, and don't do what he did. Versus him being the actual person who's speaking to the people.
I'm sorry, Purdue. Come on, bro. How many shares you got? You don't just have one share. You're spinning this thing like you're dancing, bro. There's no way you don't have. No, that's not how it works, Purdue.
They're watching Better Call Saul so much.
Yeah, is this Saul? Is this Saul Goodman? What are we talking about, Purdue?
That's all I'm saying. It's just the one share I have of Dynasty. I've written them all. If there's any value for him in years future, I still think there is. I mean, maybe I'm being hopeful and ignorant.
You're being very hopeful. But look, let me
he's a VIP. VIP as opposed to just the average person off the street, right? And I think the justice system, unfortunately, handles those individuals differently. And that's all I'm saying.
The poster boy for drag racing, says Sick Nasty. Bro, you just said the poster boy. This guy can't stay out of trouble for 2 weeks, and you're gonna try and put him on a poster and attach your name to him and watch him screw up again? Come on, Purdue. That's not how the world works.
If it ends up being that this nightclub thing is a nothing burger, and then it's like, hey, they're jumping on Rashee because he was just there and they're attacking him, he's going to look like a bit of a victim in that regard.
No, he's not.
If he ends up coming through that. He will.
He shouldn't be at the club in the first place. He looks like a fool.
The poster boy at the club, is not a good look, bro. Not a good look. Let me guess. Club's okay.
that nightclub issue, it's going to look like, oh, we're just piling on Rasheed.
It does, but it will just be one more less nail in the coffin, but it will not change the tide for him. Like you're suggesting, it'll end up going in his favor, and then he's a poster boy for.
I think it can give him a little bit of sympathy. If he comes out of that clean as a whistle, and it's like, oh yeah, we were actually totally wrong in him, we're labeling him in this nightclub thing. It can give him a little bit of
clean
sympathy.
as a whistle. Purdue. Clean as a whistle. If he comes out of this nightclub incident clean as a whistle, the victim. My client was a victim.
Right. He's got to hire Purdue as a PR guy right away.
You know for sure he was involved. You know, like, that's one thing. It's too early to say anything with him right now. That's why, like, it's hands off 100% right now. But you never know. Like, let things play out.
No, I don't have to. Let me tell you something right now, Purdue. I appreciate your stance and you can take it. But no, the answer is no. The answer is on this channel, the direction from me at least, and everyone can do what they want, is you don't go near him. You don't go near him. You won't go near him. And this probably is not going to end well. Not to mention Hollywood Brown and Worthy are already going to take his spot. They can't rely on him. They can't build an offense around him and rely that he's going to be there. So he will be an accoutrement in the offense at some point this year, this offseason, because they won't know where to put him. Because you can't say, let's put everything on Rashee Rice after having a very volatile year in terms of rapport and connection and being on the same page. They got finally back where they needed to be. And he's out at the club while Hollywood Brown's, reading the playbook. He's out at the club when he was just in trouble from racing home from the club and got into a 6-car pileup and was a coward and walked off the freeway like a coward. And in his entire entourage, which he continues to obviously surround himself with bad people, he's going to continue. This poster boy of yours is going to continue to look bad at every turn. He clearly makes horrible decisions. And Texas doesn't care about a PR spin on this. This is what they've been looking for, a spotlight. Cast a spotlight on him and say, this is what happens to you. Not, hey, watch us give this celebrity a pass. This will be great for the public eye. This will be great for the PR. We're going to let Rashee Rice run away from the scene of the crime, get the alcohol out of his system that was probably in his system. That's me guessing. That's my guess. I'm not saying I have that information. My guesstimation is that this guy had to go clear his system. And he got away with it by fleeing the scene. And then he's got people like Purdue. No offense, Purdue, I love you. You're a Mars man. You're the man. But on this topic, you got people like Purdue saying he could become a poster boy. He's apologetic. He showed remorse. He didn't show any remorse or apologetic approach until he was commanded by police to turn himself in. And he didn't show it. You know what he showed on his Instagram when he made his kind of apology? He said that he called the Lamborghini company when he was walking off the freeway ramp and said, I crashed your vehicle. I will pay for it. I'm sorry. Instead of calling the police or calling anybody, an ambulance, the fire department, to go help the people that he as a coward left in vehicles. This is a horrible decision maker. And on top of that, here's Purdue here's where I think you're wrong though, no matter what. And I appreciate you again. Is you look at where his ADP is, and I know you're saying don't touch him or wait or whatever, but anywhere his ADP ends up going, if he gets the suspension of half a season, he drops to what? The hundreds? I'd take anybody in the hundreds. I'd take handfuls of players in the hundreds over him missing a season. Let me give you case in point. Let's say he falls to round 9 and 10 because he's out for 8 games. Give me so many of these players. Trey Benson's going at 101. Are you telling me you're drafting Rashee Rice missing half a season over Trey Benson at 101?
No chance, of course.
Okay. Are you telling me you're drafting him over, let's say, even a guy like Xavier Legette at 135 overall than a Rashee Rice missing 8 games?
Nope.
Okay. So there's no place for him to be on anyone's roster, because as the suspension likelihood increases or gets handed down, and even if it's half a season, he's going to be so far near great players that can contribute all year, there's zero reason to go get him. And as it stands right now, where we don't know what the suspension is, he's floating in the, let's see, he went at number 60, 83 overall right here. Zamir White went right after him. James Conner went right after him. Jordan Addison, Hopkins, goes straight down to Najee. Jonathan Brooks went almost a round later. Like, what are we doing here? How can you argue he's worth ever drafting or will be worth drafting? Because at every turn of this situation, he becomes almost less valuable comparatively to the players around him.
I'm not arguing it, Smitty. He's a bonehead, 100%. I agree with everything you say about his situation and him, like 100%. Like, all I'm saying is he's hands off for me until we know what's actually going down. Like, there is, in my mind, there's a realm of possibility where he could somehow get 4 games, and that's it. I don't know how that plays out. I don't know exactly what he would have to do to get that kind of a light.
But you're just guessing. You're dreaming, bro. Hold on.
Maybe.
I hope you don't take offense to this, but we're currently inside. We're inside Purdue's bedroom. We're inside Purdue's bedroom. He's sleeping. This was Draven's room. Draven quit fantasy, so we're taking his room over. Purdue, you now are the owner of the bedroom scene. And psst, Purdue, wake up. Wake up, Purdue. You're having a bad dream. You're having a bad dream. Rasheed Rice will not be available for you, Purdue. Wake up. Wake up, son.
There's got to be a possibility where he somehow gets through this a little bit later than what we're all expecting. I mean, like I said, he's a VIP. There's like...
He's a VIP. He's a VIP.
No, I'm just, like, how it is. That's just how it is. Like,
no, he's not a VIP.
Bum right about now.
Oh, Purdue,
they're
you're...
going to look at it and be like, hey, like, we can either just put this guy in jail, or we can have him kind of like essentially be like the voice of like trying to make a positive change here. And it's like, what do they want? What do they want? Do they want to just put someone in jail, or do they want to have
But who are you even talking about? Who are you referencing? Texas law? Are you imagining the NFL's in charge of this decision?
No, nothing to do with the NFL.
Okay, but you think Texas law is sitting there going, man, we could turn this into a positive. Let's let him skate, even though he caused millions of dollars in damage. he left people for dead, essentially. Thank God they weren't injured, but that's what he was doing. In his mind, he was leaving everybody and just running away. Thank God no one got hurt. They did get hurt, though. There are injuries.
No one got hurt. There was like
no, they did though. They did. The reason the charges got escalated is because it is reporting as injuries. There were injuries. That was false.
And that doesn't even matter though. Someone could have gotten killed.
Nothing serious I'm aware of.
No, there was like wasn't there a broken like occipital bone or something like that? It was not. It was actually more serious than we thought. Nothing life threatening, but there was a kid involved. There was a mother and a kid involved. He abandoned and walked away. And I just feel like you're letting it you're just scoffing at it like it's an acceptable thing because no one died.
What do you think Texas is out for against them? What do you think they're trying to do? Like, how long do you think they're trying to put them away for? Like, seriously, what kind of example do you think they're going to make? Because there's a point where making an example actually has the opposite effect of what they're trying to accomplish. So, like, what do you...
Quit while you're...
No, I'm serious. Like, what do you think they're going to try and do with it?
Purdue, I'm sorry, bro, but you're talking nonsense. This is you're almost saying, why is the legal system there then? You're telling me basically you can go do what he did, and now, what? Just because he's got this VIP card, because that's going to be your next answer. People commit crimes. They pay the price. You're asking me, what do you think Texas wants to do? Like, this is the only case Texas has, and it's the only criminal thing they've ever seen in their life. What do we do with this? Do we actually try it? Do we take it the distance? Or, God, we've never dealt with the crime before. Bro, they're pretty big professionals at handling something like this, and they're going to handle it. Texas doesn't care. They're not messing around. This is the worst state to do this in. On top of, they're trying to stop this drag racing from happening, and now they have an opportunity to do it. They're like, this is insane to me.
A really big football state. So do you think they want to be like? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not as simple as you're making. It sounds simple. Absolutely, throw the book at them, lock them up. But when it comes down to it, when no one's sure, there might have been a broken bone, and there might have been some damage. But when you look at it as what it is, like
so
football player.
So if you get, let me ask you this question: you get in a car, and you just start trying to run over people, and you don't hit anybody. You're okay? Come on, Purdue. You got to stop, bro.
But that's the reality of it. Is they're going to look at the actual what happened.
You go.
I'm not going to be a jerk about it and be like the devil's advocate. Like,
you are the definition of trying to be devil's advocate. Stop. Come on, bro.
I guess I am being a devil's advocate.
Yeah, you are.
But I'm trying to also be realistic and say, like, are they really going to try and like what?
Yes.
What do you
yes,
think
Purdue.
Do
Why do you keep asking that? Why do you keep asking that question, though? I'm very curious. Why do you keep saying, what are they going to do? Actually prosecute them? What are they going to actually do? Make somebody pay for causing a 6-car pileup and running away like a coward? Leaving injured people in a car and not even knowing they were injured? Causing 10 to 14 criminal counts? You really think they're sitting there going, what are we really going to do anything about this, guys? Or are we just going to let this go so people continue to speed? Like, this has been a problem in Texas, bro. They're giving the solution right here. The solution is take it all the way.
It could be. I mean,
okay.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Smitty. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just like, again, the way they treat professional athletes or celebrities and people, they get different treatment. It's just how it is. But they'll look at it as possibly a PR move where they can find a better benefit of having Rashee Rice.
What do you do for a living, Purdue? It's definitely talking. What is it? Is it sales? Is it insurance? Insurance.
There's a bit of that, but yeah,
it's what?
I'm in the communications industry.
Okay. Like, you can't give us any more than that? Like,
right.
You can't give us any more than that?
Can't say more.
Okay.
No.
He's head of PR for the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, man. All right, let's go over to Brogan. Brogan hasn't been on for a while. You can hang right there, Purdue. I love you, pal. I don't want you to feel attacked on here in terms of your opinion, but your opinion's wild, bro. You can even read the chat. It's so wild. You're like, if you were an attorney and I was the judge, I'd get so tired of trying to, combat your rebuttals that don't have like a whole lot of reason to them on this topic, that I would just, I don't know what I'd do. I'd just give up. It might be a mistrial just from having you argue all these crazy points. Let me go to Brogan real quick. Brogan, you're live.
How you doing?
Hang tight, Purdue. What's up?
How you doing, my friend?
What's up?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Brogan, we're still waiting for you.
Sorry. I have a dynasty question, my friend. So
Okay.
I only have one pick. It's my first round pick of a 3-round draft. So I have Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron Williams, CJ
Smash.
Stroud, Jamar
Smash.
Chase, Zay
Smash.
Flowers, Kyle Pitts,
Smash.
Tank Dell,
Smash.
Brian Robinson, and some other highlights really. But I just want to know, like, do I just kind of just let it rip and just draft Blake Corum as just a premium handcuff for Kyron? Because with this team, I ended up in like second place, and I think I can compete.
It depends.
again
It depends
with the
where.
same
What
team.
pick are you talking about?
The first, so it's going to be the 109 of a 10-round draft. Not 10 round.
That's a little
Sorry.
early. That's a little early, but it's not like it's the craziest thing in the world. But I would probably trade down, try and gain some draft capital, or just try and trade up and get another second rounder and go early on Blake Corum there. But that's a very nice pick, bro. You're gonna have you might get Benson or Jonathan Brooks there or something. I've seen Brett Benson go at 10, 11, 12. You're not taking Blake Corum over Trey Benson or Jonathan Brooks, who are standalone starters. Corum's a backup. And he's a great backup, and he's a must-have backup, but he's a backup running back. He's a cuff.
Gotcha.
And you need to get him, but not at the cost of a 9. So I would trade like multiple seconds to just move your third up or whatever you got to do. But I do not blow
this
that
is going
9
off
pick.
of just but yeah, I'm thinking of trying to approach the Anthony Richards team owner with Joe Flacco, perhaps, and see if I can just kind of rip him off with a trade with that. But yeah, I think thank you for this this approach.
Yeah, don't figure out another way to get Corum. I'm not saying don't.
Yeah,
but
I do think
you can't
he's going to be very valuable as like a handcuff for Kyron.
Of course he
because
will.
I'm
Of
assuming
course he
that,
will.
You know,
But don't be that eager beaver that's pulling the trigger on this, and everyone's going to laugh at you when you're like passing on starting running backs that are going to be gems in the NFL, and Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson for a backup that could be very important to cuff to Kyron, no doubt about it. As you can see, the new Saturn man has Blake cuffed to him.
The Saturn men.
One small step for man.
So it's 100% necessity, but you need to go a different route. All right, hold on there, pal. Let me go over to let's see. We've got Brogan, we got Travis, we got Rockout. Marsman Rockout's been on the line already. DC dude, you're live, DC dude. Everybody else mute if you could, unless you're on stealth mode and you're good at it. Go ahead, DC dude.
Hey, yo, Smitty. Hey, listen, I just want to tell you, bro, like, you are the freaking man. You are a freaking legend. You are the freaking GOAT. I love you, bro.
Thank you, DC.
I just want to tell you that.
Thank you, pal.
Look, listen. First of all, I wouldn't touch Bryce within the first 20 rounds. I'm not touching him within the first 20 rounds. I don't know why anybody would still think about, trying to draft him. Why would I draft a guy that's only going to play, 5-6 games a year if I'm lucky for me this year, like we are in redraft, right? So with that being said, I just want to say, you don't give enough love to Superflexes, Smitty. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We do need to do more Superflex content. That's true. But in my defense, though, let me just say in my defense, maybe during draft time I don't. But Underdog doesn't have when the Superflex underdogs come out, I do them. So there's not much of an opportunity for me to in my defense. But also in my defense, I do an hour, 2 hour, sometimes 3 hour show, especially during the season, where you can call up and pick my brain on Superflex all you want, and you're not doing it. So the onus is really on you, my guy, because this is an open.
Oh, so you're making me pay?
You know what I'm saying?
So you're making me pay. Listen, I don't.
No, I'm not making you pay. I'm saying that, like, when someone says, Smitty, why don't you do this? I say, why don't you call in and ask? Because if you call in every day and ask a Superflex question, guess what, baby? You're bringing Superflex content to the forum. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But look, listen, I don't mind paying for your services. I just want to
No. I'm not. No. You're missing my point. I'm not. I mean, sure, I've got the Superflex content on my TheFantasyFootballShow.com. You're giving me the plug right here. I wasn't even suggesting that. But yes, fantasyfootballshow.com. Get to it. Superflex content. You're not hearing me. I'm saying I have an open phone line. And you're asking me why I don't talk about Superflex more. I have an open phone line. You could be the person bringing Superflex questions to me on the regular, on the phone line, and creating Superflex content is what I'm trying to tell you.
I love it. But that's brilliant. See, that's why we love you, Smitty. You're freaking brilliant, bro.
But you need to do it.
Look, listen, I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
Right?
So hit me with it. Let's create some Superflex content.
All right. Boom. Here we go. Let's talk the football. So, redraft, Superflex, best ball. All right. We sitting at 5.8 right now. I'm sitting at 5.8. 4 picks in front of me. Huge, pick, right? Because I got Bijan and Etienne as my running back. I got Kyler and JD5, right? So now we coming to the 5th round. I got 5.8 with 4 picks in front of me, and these are my picks. Tell me who you would pick, right? So I got Pittman number 1, Michael Pittman. Malik Neighbors. I'm thinking about going Malik Neighbors number 1 because he's the number 1 in New York, and even if Daniel Jones get hurt, they still throwing the ball to freaking Malik Neighbors. So he's the true number 1 along with Michael Pittman. So those are my 1 and 2. But then after that, I got Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp, DK McCaffrey, Deontay Smith, T. Higgins. Who you picking with 4 in front of you at 5.8?
So right now you have ETN, Bijan, Kyler, JD5, okay? And you're telling me that Michael Pittman's there, Neighbors is there, DK's there, and who else? DK, give me a list of other guys.
All right, Michael Pittman, Malik Neighbors, and like he's 2, but I'm thinking about moving him to 1. Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Deontay Smith, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers. I'm thinking about Malik. Listen, he's the true number 1. He's a super freak. And think about my team. I got freaks already. Bijan's a freak, right? JD5 is a freak. Kyler is a freak. And who else did I say?
You have Kyler, JD5, ET. Yeah.
ETN.
Okay, so what I'm going to say here is this. I like Neighbors. I love him in Dynasty. I don't know how much I love him in redraft, like right out of the gate. Because you've got a real situation on your hands, bro, where he's developing rapport with a pretty bad quarterback that, bro, he might not even be ready for multiple weeks into the season. So you're going to have a quarterback change. He's got to build new rapport. It's going to be an up and down year for Neighbors. I don't really understand the Neighbors.
Number 1.
Who's DK's not a true number 1?
It's no competition in New York with Neighbors. No competition.
There's no at what point does no competition beat out being a better receiver, more polished wide receiver that's had 1,000-yard seasons back-to-back, 6 touchdowns, I believe, and 8 touchdowns. So last year was 1,200 yards, something like that, 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns off 60-something receptions. He's being handed Ryan Grubb as his new OC. Ryan Grubb's the guy that just turned Odunze and Penix into monsters in Washington. So now he's in Seattle, Ryan Grubb, and he's going to unleash the offense a little bit. I'll also say Cooper Kupp. I know that Puka's the number 1 there, but this could be a Nico and Dell situation for 1 more year still. I still don't hate Kupp as a redraft, 5th drafted player for you in this situation. I think at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with DK, Neighbors, or Kupp. I think that's probably your choice here because you don't have a wide receiver yet. Nico's interesting. But, man, I don't know. This is tough. Travis, what do you say?
It's redraft, right?
Yeah, redraft Superflex.
I like DK. I'm big on DK.
Wow.
I even agree with. I think Smitty when I mentioned it. I think there's a chance Howell gets that job eventually.
Yeah, there's also 2 quarterbacks
and
there.
The Ryan Grubb offense they push it down the field.
Yeah, don't think Pete Carroll, bro. Don't think
Really?
don't think Pete Carroll and this is a 2 wide receiver set. This is going to be stretched the field. Penix Jr. was the most,
Well, if he doesn't know who Ryan Grubb is, Make sure.
I don't.
Yeah. He's the new OC, bro. It's totally different now. I would probably say. I mean, think about it. What if they replace Danny Dimes or put Danny Dimes in the lineup, and let's say he's not ready for week 1. That's so much volatility for a rookie wide receiver, number 1 or not. He's going through so much change. At third round value, I don't understand Neighbors' third round redraft value. I don't get it. I don't.
That's a great point.
I just don't. I mean, but you got to trust your gut. Nico is pretty awesome.
My gut's telling me Malik. That's what I'm saying. My gut's telling me Malik. I'm just
Go with your gut.
high on DK and some of you, but like that's a great point that you made about Grubb, because if they going to now stretch the field now, then ain't no better player than DK.
I just think like what is your expectation for Neighbors? What do you think he can get in the Giants offense, bro? Because even if it's Danny Dimes healthy, how is he going to be a 10 touchdown guy? How is he going to get as a rookie? How is he getting 10 touchdowns in a New York offense where Saquon went to die?
Look, use a freaking goat, and I think that Neighbors is just a freaking freak. He's a freak, just like the rest of my team. Bijan, Etienne, Kyler Murray, and JD5. They freaks. Neighbors is a freak. So, that's my rationale.
Trust your gut, because guess what, bro? You don't want to come back in here and go, I knew it. But I'm just going to tell you, I'd draft DK. I think DK, what DK is going to give you as a safe floor, which is 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. You're going to be happy as hell if Neighbors gets that as a rookie. I think your expectation for New York, where Barkley couldn't be half the running back he's about to be in Philadelphia, bro. You're about to see Barkley on a whole new level. Barkley couldn't get crap for touchdowns. You think about this, if Danny Dimes is in there, he vultures touchdowns. So you have even less of an opportunity for Neighbors to score than a normal offense. Then you have the fact that he'll probably get replaced at some point and have another quarterback change. Neighbors might have 3 quarterbacks throughout the season trying to learn the NFL game. I just don't understand. Like a rookie wide receiver in a bad spot will be lucky to have 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Lucky.
Yeah. No, listen, I think you're right, Smitty. Thank you so much. I think you changed my mind. I'm definitely going to make DK number 1.
Not to confuse you. But a lot of the chat is saying Nico. Which,
Nico.
I like Nico.
I don't trust that the offense. There's 3 of them now.
I know. I'm not as high on Nico as everybody else. I like him, but he's just going way too high for me. I'm going DK. Final answer. I do like Cooper Kupp a little bit though. Like at the next pick, if you go Kupp and DK, you get Kupp and DK with these players. I love your team, bro. I like your team already, but I just mean you get Kupp and DK, or just get Neighbors. Get Neighbors Can you get Neighbors at the second pick? Is he the top ranked guy?
Look, listen, I'm sitting at 8, and like the turn is coming, so maybe I can try to wait and see if I can get one of these Neighbors in.
Who's more likely to fall? Who's more likely to fall to your next pick, DK or Neighbors, according to the suggested rank?
Neighbors, definitely.
Okay, then I go DK, and I hope that you get Neighbors as your second wide receiver, and you're able to deploy your gut instinct on top of getting DK. That's my advice.
Yeah,
all right, later, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Call in more for Superflex content, bro. I need a lot of times the phone callers are the ones asking the questions, creating the content, and if you don't call in and ask about it, then you're not going to have more Superflex content. But all you got to do is call about it. All right, later, bro. Marsman Purdue, have you had time to think about any of your stance? Hello?
I mean, I think I'm realistic. I'm not touching Rasheed in any leagues. I got him in Dynasty. I got nothing to do with him because I can't trade him. I can't, the value's not there. I'm not going to get anything for him. So I'm just holding and hoping. But with that last conversation with Neighbors and what was it, DK?
Yeah.
I think the bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, right? And I think with DK you got bird in the
hand.
I think
Can I ask you a question though? All right, hold on. Let me put. Hey, 858 caller. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? This is Christian Whitty calling from San Diego.
Christian from San Diego. Hold on, Christian. I'll come to you next. Okay, just hang tight.
Take your time.
Yeah, Christian from San Diego. Okay. Purdue. The thing I don't get about your defense of Rice is it makes even less sense now than it did before, because you keep emphasizing for now he's a no-go. So why are you? How is there even a defense for him when there's like a no-go? Like, your defense kind of, to me, means that you're willing to say, let's take a chance on him because this could turn out well for him. You know what I mean? You're saying this could turn out well for him, but no. I know what you're saying, and I'm trying to say it confuses me even more, because you're saying it might turn out well for him, but he's a stay away until we find out. But like, you're defending and you're so it's just confusing to me, because the way you're arguing it, it sounds like you're trying to say he could be a steal considering what you're saying, but you're saying all this defensive, like, it could work out for him. And that's the kind of argument somebody makes to say he's undervalued. Maybe people are overreacting, but you're not. You're like on our side, but you're like, it's weird because you're not drafting him. There's no place you draft him. So I don't understand your stance. I don't get it.
I can't draft him. Smitty, I couldn't draft him. I don't know what round it would have to be, how late it would have to be for me to even consider him right now. All I'm saying is I wouldn't doubt it with the way the legal system works and how, athletes get treated and things like that, and potentially what could happen. But there's a realm of possibility where somehow he escapes through all this with like 4 games. And, at that point, if it was known that it was only a 4-game suspension, or we had a certain number on how many games he was going to miss,
the problem is, though, again, at every turn of this process, right now, don't touch him, right? You even say that, because the players around his current ADP are way better. They're safer. And then if a suspension does get handed down, he falls in ADP, but he's still, now with the new guarantee of X number of missed games, he's nowhere near as good as the players around him at that moment. So it's unfortunate, it follows him the whole way, and I just disagree 100% at every turn. But it's fascinating to me how you view it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, is there a part of me that wonders if he'll skate somehow, some way, whatever? But the problem is there's so many counts. This is not like the Kamara situation where there's 1 or 2 counts. They're not sure if they can prosecute, so they give him a plea deal. They don't give plea deals out of pity or for PR reasons. It's the problem. I think you're grasping this the wrong way. You're thinking that Texas is going, let's make a good example out of him and give him a plea. Pleas are made only because they want to win. Texas has nothing on their mind other than win this case. You seem to think they're looking at it from this glass half full, let's make the world a better place. That's not how the legal system works. They look at it to take him down. And that's what the prosecution does. The DA's looking at it that. The only reason the DA pleads is because they don't think they can win. Or they don't think they can win 100%. So they'll take the W by getting them to plead to a lesser charge. What you're saying makes 0 sense, because that's not what the legal system does. People skate because the evidence isn't good enough, strong enough. Deshaun Watson, very much the police had a lot of evidence against him in a lot of the situations that were going on with the massage parlor stuff, and they didn't think that it would be prosecutable to an extreme high success rate, probability, whatever. So they decided not to pursue from the criminal aspect of it. And everyone's like, see, he was innocent. He wasn't necessarily innocent. They just said, this is kind of risky, spend a lot of money. It will be embarrassing if we lose it. So they decided not to bring charges. There was a couple holes in the thing that could fall apart during the whole process. It would be very, very expensive. So they just moved on. That's how the legal process, and so that's what Texas DA is looking at. Do we move forward? Of course they do. They got this thing in the bag. And there is zero part of them that wants to do the right thing for Rice. It's all about Texas winning this case, getting a huge W on the books, showing an example. They don't want to make a PR example positive poster boy. That's not how it works.
I disagree a little.
That's not how it works. You can disagree all you want, but that's not how it works.
State like Texas that loves their football, I think they would.
They love KC football.
Do better.
They love KC. They love Kansas City Chief football. Come on, bro.
No, they don't.
Even if Texas was thinking of it from that angle, they want Rashee Rice to rot. Like, what are you talking about? If it was all about football, the competition, bro, what are you talking about? This would be even more of a reason they go after him. This is not a Texas football player. This is somebody that plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think they could make a big example out of like a super hefty fine, a lot of community service.
Come on, bro.
Something along that line.
No offense, Purdue. No,
happened,
Purdue.
Like for what the outcome was.
Purdue. No offense.
Off the people that are
Purdue.
involved.
Let me stop you there because you obviously don't know a lot about law. I'm sorry, but that's not how this works in criminal. There's no backing off of and saying here's a fine. That's not how it works. There's a process in place. They're charging him. They're not deciding to fine him. They don't just back off and say, can we just give him like a fine and slap on the wrist? That would be determined by the judge that's giving the sentencing after this is prosecuted and won.
At the end of the day, a judge is going to decide. And the judge is going to look at it and say, gee, okay, we see that you got in like an accident and there were some cars that were involved and there was a few bumps and bruises and one person was seriously hurt. What is the actual fair punishment for something like that? And they're going to look at it
prison,
and be like, no,
prison,
not 5 years
prison,
not 2 years in jail.
Prison.
Say,
bro, the punishment is prison. Like I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand the severity of what he did. He created a 6-car. Yes, he will. Yes, he will, because you caused a 6-car pileup and ran away from the scene, and there's millions of dollars in damage all over. And he left the bill on the city, and he didn't even look out for his fellow man. 4 vehicles piled up. And he, you know what? If there was a life-threatening injury, he'd be done. He'd be serving prison time. The only reason he's going to get out of prison time is he's going to plead guilty to a significant amount of the counts.
He showed remorse.
He did not show remorse. He did not show remorse. He did not show remorse, Purdue.
He did show
no,
remorse.
he did not.
He apologized in the show. He's going to cooperate fully. All that stuff.
He abandoned the scene, and they demanded him come in, or they're going to knock his door down. Stop, Purdue. No. He didn't show remorse. He didn't turn. He was demanded. There was a warrant out for his arrest. What are you talking about? I love you.
Did he not turn himself?
Purdue.
in?
They said there's a warrant out for Rashee Rice's arrest. He has 24 hours to turn himself in, or he can flee the country and be on the run. That is not cooperating. That is not showing remorse. He didn't show remorse when he didn't help the individuals out of the car. He showed that he was a coward.
I still think a judge, when they look at the totality of what happened, they're going to say, yeah, you're an idiot for doing this, you're dumb for doing this, and you could go to jail for a long time for this, but we're going to, I still think he'll show leniency on a public figure like that.
No.
I still think that's how it works. He'll get a hefty fine. He'll get a lot of community service. They'll make him do his time.
Have you ever been to Texas?
But that's what I'm saying. It's a football state. Like, we love.
It's not a Kansas City Chief football state. Stop it. Stop it, bro. Stop it. This is the most competitive football state in the world. You think they're looking out for the Kansas City Chiefs? What are you talking about, bro? If you're going to use that stance, which I don't.
You're looking at it like he's a, they're going to look at it like, no, he's a football player. You know, and if Texas was extremely hard on every football player that, did something stupid, then football players left.
Oh, it's like arguing with a wall. I love you, Purdue. I don't want you to take this the wrong way.
Next.
Now, Smitty, you're absolutely right.
I feel. Have you been told before you're the most stubborn man in the world?
Next.
I've been told I can be stubborn.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go to Christian from San Diego. Is this Christian Herbert?
Hey, how you doing? No.
We heard you were a relative of Justin. Someone in the chat said you were. What's going on, Christian?
Yeah. Oh well, no, that's my boy because Herbert's got that dog in him.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that he's handcuffed, but that's okay. We like Herbert.
Oh yeah, no, we got some issues over there, but we'll see what happens over the next year.
Yeah. Well, what's going on, pal? What can I help you with?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to call and talk to you because I wanted to talk about a trade that I woke up to today, and it's funny that it kind of lines up with what you were just talking about. I think actually, like some of the stuff what he was just saying was kind of right when he was just talking about a public figure. But you were came over the top. It was like, dude, this is Texas. It's not like L.A. It's not like New York. He's, I don't think he's going to be getting any kind of good treatment. Coming forward, I think he sucks going forward. So what I wanted to say was I woke up today because I commissioned a Dynasty League, and everyone was saying, dude, you see the trade that just went through or that's being processed. So a guy traded Rashid Rice today for a second round, third round, and fourth round pick in the upcoming rookie draft in the next 2 weeks. What do you think Rashid Rice's value is in Dynasty because somebody just got 3 picks in this year's draft?
I would rather have all the picks, to be honest with you, bro, because the second rounder could end up being Keon Coleman. The second rounder could end up being Blake Corum, and you get Corum and Ricky Parasol or something like that. I'd rather have Isaac Garendo in the third round and whoever I get in the second round over Rashid Rice in a dynasty format. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, who knows when this kid's going to see a snap again? The nearest snap he's going to see is someone snapping into a Slim Jim, because who knows when he's going to hit the football field again, because as these charges keep piling up and stuff. Granted, the argument for Rashid Rice is, well, they're going to wait, so at least he's going to play this year. He might get an 8-game suspension next year. But now we got more stuff going on where I'm like, I don't think I would trade really anything for that.
There is a chance that this gets pushed into 2025. There is. But the problem with that, and this is where, again, to the argument of staying away, even with that potential possibility, is there are players that are still safer. Even if Rice plays, he's going to be a head case all year. He's now playing for money, too, because he's probably broke. Because of all this. So he's got a lot of different pressure and ways he's looking at it. And now he has 2 pieces of competition that have probably a better stronghold on rapport and a starting gig, because, they're going to be afraid to build around Rashid Rice probably. Now, let's say Rice ends up, being as much of a focal point as the other 2 guys. You could make an argument that Rice, no one's talking about this. Rice standalone without any other wide receiver competition last year was a different player than even a well-behaved Rice that didn't get in a car accident. Let's say he's been a well-behaved boy all offseason. How would everybody be valuing Rice with Hollywood Brown and Worthy on the roster? Everybody would be downgrading him significantly, even if he was a well-behaved young man. So why are we pretending that there's still a value that exists for Rashid Rice that's the old value just because he ends up, let's say, avoiding the suspension, when you've got 2 extra wide receivers that are there to take away targets? Then you add in the component of, if he does get not suspended until 2025, he's going to be a mess inside his head, on top of losing targets, on top of trying to fight and feeling like he's being replaced. And then look at Alvin Kamara. He played horribly when everything was in his head. He was in his own head. He screwed up the entire season, played awful. And then when he was suspended the next year in the beginning, he came in with all of it behind him and he played very well. We recommended picking him up and drafting him. Is there a world where in a year from now or whenever this happens, we're back to drafting Rice? Maybe. We don't know. It's all about business here. But right now, there's no way I'm drafting this man thinking that there's even a shot, even if he plays 17 games, that he's producing the same stats he did with Worthy and Hollywood Brown in town. So there's no value here. Not at the cost of entry. Doesn't matter where his ADP is. It could go up a little bit, down a little bit. He's always going to be surrounded by players that have more potential without any risk at all.
I actually told a couple of people who were barking about it today, I says, honestly, we won't really know the answer until maybe like 2027. I think we got a little time till then, though.
Right.
But the three picks in the first round, no. I mean, like, if I was going to trade anything for him, maybe it would be a fourth round. We could have a discussion, but I don't even want that because there's so much awesome there's just so much awesome talent and potential out there, and these second, third, and fourth rounds this year is pretty robust.
I want the second, third, and fourth over Rice all day long. I want the second and third over Rice. I want the second alone over Rice. There you go.
I got two draft picks in the second round. I want to kind of talk about it, but I know these knuckleheads are listening, so. That'll be for another graveyard shift.
What are the
idea?
What are the knuckleheads' names? We'll shout them out. We'll at least say hello to them. Who is it?
Oh well, that's going to be Wyatt, Vince, Aleko, Carl. These are all locals. Oh, they love Captain Smitty.
I love this. Where are you calling from? Okay, you're California. That's good. We got a whole league listening. I love that. I love hearing that. So Wyatt who? Wyatt.
Yeah, there's also Vince. There's also Carl,
Wild
Aleko.
Wyatt, Vinny. We got Vinny. And who else?
Yeah, and Carl. Oh, yeah, no,
Captain
they're all
Carl.
Live, and you know what? We do it live. Yeah, and Carl, and we're doing it
Carl?
live when it matters most.
I'm Captain Smitty, so he can't be Captain. He's complaining Carl. We got Vinny.
Yeah,
we got Wild Wyatt.
All the time. He was the kid. Aleko was the kid that got rounds 2, 3, and 4 for Rashid Rice. Yeah, no, This kid won big. I think he's a moon man.
Right.
But yeah, no,
right.
he should get approved for getting 3 picks for Rashid Rice, regardless.
Rashid Rice, but yeah, okay, all right. Hey, we'll appreciate you, Christian. We'll see you later, pal.
Another time.
Call in anytime. Later. All right, I'm gonna wrap this show up here. Let me go back to Purdue. Purdue. Any final thoughts, my guy? Now, I do want you to know you're a Mars man extraordinaire. You can break into the phone line anytime you want. You got a Mars man card. I do appreciate you. You're a loyal follower of this channel. And so for that, I'm always going to love you, pal. I'm sorry, we have butted heads before. I forget what the other topic was. When you called in, I'm like, oh, Purdue. And then when we started on this topic, I'm like, I kind of remember the last time Purdue called. He was a Mars man, and I felt like I was like arguing with him about something. You and I definitely, I think, have a few different viewpoints about stuff like this. But I appreciate it. It's good content. I know people are probably getting tired of hearing about it by now. But anything else you want to ask that's unrelated or anything else before you jump, bro?
Smitty, I think it was me saying Kirk Cousins would go with Fields to the Steelers. I think that was maybe what we butted heads on. You're like, you're crazy.
Oh yeah, I remember that. What's funny is he did end up going to the Steelers. That's amazing.
Russell and Fields. So I mean, I was happy with that.
Oh,
but,
that's
hilarious.
I'm
not going to be in Rashid Rice's corner anymore. I think I've said enough there.
Okay.
But
right.
One thing I did want to mention, though, is looking at this draft that you did, Justin Herbert in the 11th round, I think that's absurd. I think he's a steal in round 6 to 8, a league winner in those rounds.
Yeah, we don't get along very well.
He went that late, I think, is crazy.
You and I don't get along very well. I don't care about Herbert in the 4th round. I'd rather have. I mean, it's not horrible value, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers. JD5, I think, went slightly before that. I want JD5. Herbert's going to be handcuffed, my guy. But it's not that Herbert's a bad talent. It's just he's being asked to drive half the speed that he's capable of driving, and he's still being asked to race everybody that's going full speed. He's just not. It's like my example is a 200-mile-an-hour race car racing against other 200-mile-an-hour race cars, and Harbaugh's only going to let him drive 125 miles per hour. That's it. I mean, that's the best way to explain how Herbert's going to be utilized. It's unfortunate, but this team is just absolutely dull as hell. It's the most boring group of guys I've ever seen, ever assembled. This is just, it's almost like somebody said, don't draft a single star player. We want nothing. We want people where no one's better than the next guy, and we're going to create a college mentality. They're all going to have to sleep in the dorms and bunk beds. No one can go home. This is going to be like boot camp, and we're going to take this back into the college days. And he's dealing with pros. And I do have this to say. As much as people want to say, oh, Harbaugh was so good in San Francisco, he can do it again. There was a lot of people that talked about it where there have been players that have gone on record saying that a lot of NFL players in San Francisco and in the pros got sick and tired of Harbaugh's rah mentality and the way he does things. And it takes a few years to get completely sick of it. And the fact of him being in college, players would graduate out, and by the time they were getting sick of it, they're leaving, or whatever. And you could say, oh, but look at Corum, how much you loved him. And you're right, there are some examples of that for sure. Corum was getting 27 touchdowns, like of course he was happy, but this is going to be hard for me to envision being as successful as everybody's predicting, going into a pro environment and trying to say now you can't sit where you want. That locker that you used to have, that you're used to, I'm taking it from you. You're sitting in numerical order now. Grab your little bag, your little baggie, your name tag, and we're going to sit Indian style before every game and eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like, that's just the way it feels like it's being operated. And you can't be a big name. Get him out of here. Keenan Allen, send him packing. Eckler, get him out of here. Bring in my brother's running backs, J.K. Gus Edwards. And anybody just arguing that it's going to be amazing, I feel like has got some skin in the game. Like you're either a Charger fan, which is fine. I'm not saying that it can't win. I've never once said it will 100% fail or anything, but it's not going to be fun to watch. Not from a fantasy football perspective. It just can't be. Who's going to score? Who's going to be the guy? It's going to be a 3-4-headed monster between an all ACL and Achilles running back squad. Vidal is the only guy I want because I don't know that the other two, JK and Gus, will be standing by week number 8, 9, 10. So hopefully this Vidal kid's pretty fantastic. He's probably the only guy I want. I don't know. That's my take.
Yeah, I think Herbert, unfortunately, is a pass for me this year. As much as I like him, I got a pass just with the situation. Feel bad for him, but I think JK could be a good.
I love you, Purdue. I thought he was a steal. I'm confused again. The two topics, Rice, you defended him, but you said he's in a void. Herbert, you're defending his ADP. He's a steal, but he's in a void. I'm confused. You're confusing the hell out of me, Purdue.
I'll draft him in round 6 to 8 if he's there. I will draft him, but I mean, I don't like the situation. I feel bad for him. Is all I'm saying. I wish he's got so much talent. I wish they put more around him to do more with him. But anyway, have a good one.
Hey, Purdue, please don't be discouraged about calling in. I love you, pal. I appreciate you, and I'm sorry if I was not on your side tonight at all. It makes me feel bad because you're a Mars man. You're in a special club.
Always a good time, brother.
All right, later, bro.
Later.
That was like taking a dump for an hour and a half. Let me go over to Josh from Cali. Josh, any final thoughts?
Hey, man. Not to be a Johnny Downer, brother, but a while back, a guy messaged in like some crap about he didn't like how anyone could just call in and just had access to the star, and it's awesome, bro. That's why the show is so cool, man. And I appreciate all the work, brother. It's an awesome show. And just to chime in real quick on the last question, if you hypothetically had to, gun to the head, who's the guy you're taking? like from the Chargers? Who's gonna catch the touchdowns?
I mean, McConkey. I mean, you got to take McConkey, but what will the cost of entry be according to this draft data? Let's see where McConkey went. He went pretty high. I'm not saying let me just see where he went. McConkey went at where'd he go? He went at pick number. It was like round 5 or 6, wasn't it? It was around 7. Okay, let me scroll up because this is not scrolled. Let me get all the way to the top. So round 7, McConkey round 7. So after that was JSN, Rashee Rice, Deontay Johnson. That was an acceptable place. I'm fine with McConkey. I could have taken McConkey at 82. I'm fine with that. He's the one player I would draft in the pass catching room, sure. Vidal, I like a lot. Those are it. But even those guys I'm taking with caution, though, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's not bad value. But McConkey, like in round 5 or something, is ridiculous. In round 7, sure. Sure.
All right, appreciate it, brother.
All right, hey, appreciate you, bro. Later. Let me go over to Marsman Rock Out. Marsman Rock Out, final thoughts, bro.
Yeah, I like Reed the best of the Packers, but how do you feel about Watson and Dobbs?
I'm not a huge fan of Dobbs. I know he's good, but I just don't feel it. You know what I mean? I can't really even give evidence. It's just a gut instinct thing. I'm you can say what you want against it if you have a rebuttal. Not you, but anybody. It's fine. I'm not even going to argue with you. It's like you like Dobbs, sure, that's fine. Watson, failed everyone. Who's gonna truly trust him?
I know.
But at the same time, like if he did solve these hamstring injuries, we do know he exploded his rookie year. We do know the talent's there. I also feel, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I feel like Watson and Ridley were one and the same last year. They had so many opportunities to get those deep passes, those end zone grabs. Watson should have had like multiple touchdowns in multiple games, and the ball either hit his fingertips or he got overthrown, and so sometimes I think Watson had those low percentage chance throws thrown his way, and those are hard to convert when your quarterback's still evolving and maturing, and so Ridley would get 2 or 3 very hard to convert targets that would have been 70-yard touchdowns, but when you constantly miss on those and you get nothing across the middle, none of the gravy work, makes it really, really tough. So I think Watson is potentially a hidden gem, as is Jahan Dotson, but you got to draft him appropriately, which is very, very late, which is fine because it packages in all the risk.
Yeah, and what do you do with like a fringe guy like Curtis Daniels? I'm not sure how he's going to be in the offense.
I don't know. Not a starter by any means. Probably not even your 4th wide receiver, but like on the bench, I don't mind. He's got a lot of versatility. I do like him, but I'm certainly not going to put him in a position to be my number 3. Could he be in a rotation at 4? I don't mind that. It depends how you build. If you stack RB and quarterback and tight end early, and you're going cheap wide receiver shopping, then I could be okay with that. Like in a rotation as a potential starter, but not like your main guy. All right, appreciate.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
I'd be seeing like Curtis staying on the top, and like I keep like avoiding it.
Yeah. Hoosiers says DJ Chark. Another thing we disagree on, but that doesn't surprise me, Hoosiers.
DJ Chark.
My boy Hoosiers. Chark, DJ Chark, do it live. DJ Chark. Okay, rock out. We'll see you tomorrow, bro.
All right, see ya.
Travis Rowe, final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer at all, but what are the chances that Quentin Johnson cleans things up a little bit and ends up being a decent player? I mean, what do you see his ceiling being if everything clicks, everything goes right, and he's the guy in that offense? That's a lot of ifs, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this to get people's hopes up. I'm just curious.
No, I'll be honest. Like, as much as I crap on him, there have been times where I've been like, there's no one else to grab. And let me see where he went in this draft. And I've like drafted him, but I've felt really bad about it after. I did it. And I was like, damn, I did a thing. It's certainly somebody I never want to draft, but I I have admittedly taken him, but it hasn't been a lot. Where is he going right now? What's his ADP? I'm looking at he went round 14. That's not horrible. I mean, the problem is Luke McCaffrey's there. Malachi Corley's there. I'm taking both those guys over him. Javon Baker's there. I kind of like him more than that. Jermaine Burton. You start getting past that point though. Like now it's like Elijah Moore, Wan'Dale Robinson, other rookies like Walker and Rondell Moore. I said already. Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Boyd, Hyatt. Like you can take Quentin Johnson there with a smile. That's like 15, 16. That's fine.
Yeah, he's going around 148.
Yeah, that's okay.
The ADP is way down there. So.
But he went in this.
I guess it was like a dart throw.
Yeah, he went in this draft at 161. But that's about right. You go one more round up, and you've got Leggett over him all day. Gabe Davis, I'd take Gabe Davis over him very easily. Ricky Parasol, I'll take a shot at Ricky Parasol over Quentin Johnson. Sorry, I will. Troy Franklin, give me Troy Franklin playing with Bo Nix in Denver. Luke McCaffrey, want Luke. So it's like round 14 is where it starts to become a possibility for me. Not earlier, not 13, not 12, not 11. It's around 14.
Yeah.
And even that, it's just like...
I see some people that are like really high on him, and I mean, no offense to those people, they might prove me wrong, but I feel like they're kind of like the same people who are saying Deontay Johnson was going to be a top 10 wide receiver, and like rather than just using the eye test, they kind of try to make things happen that like might have thought they had that talent at one time, but just
nobody listened to me. I was 100% kidding about Chark. Okay, Hoosiers was kidding about Chark. I got you. He was throwing a little humor into the. What do you mean they got talent? They got Chark. He was just joking. Thank God. Did they end up? I feel almost embarrassed. I don't know the answer to this, but what happened with the Valdez-Scantling meeting between the Chargers and Valdez-Scantling? Did it even get any news?
I don't know.
Did he sign and no one reported it? Like the Chargers, man, what are they doing? We'll bring in Chark. We got a meeting with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. We'll bring him in. I heard that Anthony Miller got released. We could bring Anthony Miller in. We'll really get some guys. The best no name, the more no name they are, the better.
No name, straight line speed guys.
Yeah, we want guys that don't have families. we want somebody that just is just gonna say yes, sir, and they don't have anything to. It's almost like it almost feels like somebody recruiting somebody for like the CIA or something, where they're like, okay, let's make sure they got no one at home. Let's make sure they got, chip on their shoulder. They've been written off. They've washed out, and we're going to take them and we're going to mold them and sculpt them into a Los Angeles Charger. That's our formula. Eckler, get out of here. You still got a little bit of name resonating. We don't want anything to do with that. J.K. Dobbins, 2 injuries, coming back from an Achilles. No one's ever done it. Bring him in. Gus Edwards, the finisher. I look at Gus as a finisher. Part of me kind of like just likes Gus Edwards, though. I really kind of like him. I don't know why. Gus Bus, fun name. Tough guy, for sure. But
just a grind.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to root for. But staying healthy, didn't have a very good, season. Some people act like he did. They cite that he did, but he didn't. He was very, very inefficient. I mean, I can throw it up here. I know everyone likes to debate me on it, but I have the data. I'm not just flying by the seat of my pants here. And some people will come out with different data, and I don't know what they're looking at, because people will cite things all the time. You'd be like, so-and-so had X number of finishes above the top 10 running back threshold. And I'll be like, well, wait a minute. Like, no, I'm looking at it. Where are you getting this? What on earth are you measuring this on? Because I'll show you right now, one of the worst running backs last year was Gus Edwards. And he was very inefficient. He had a couple very nice games. 3 of them in particular. Yeah, 3 games in particular where he was a top 10 running back. but then that was essentially it. The rest of his games weren't just like borderline; they were awful. So if we look at Gus Edwards' finish for the season, he was running back 45 in week 1, 22, 47, 35, 37, 37. He was just bad. I mean, he's not even top 32, you know. And then he comes in and he's running back 6 and 3. This is what really this is like James Cook. People say James Cook was this good all year long. James Cook was the same. He had like 4 games, I think. 4, and then the 5th one was mediocre, I believe. And the rest of them were garbage. But everybody, like, this is where the seed was planted. He was running back 6 and running back 3. Then 11's not bad. It's just not crazy, you know. And then he had 6, right? 30 in between. But then he goes back to 48, bye week, 63, 17, 18, 29. And we don't really count week 18, but 52 didn't help.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not
a... Look at his yardage wasn't good. Like, I swear he only had like 2 or 3 games where he even had like decent to good yardage. It was just he would score touchdowns.
Right, but his carries were still high. Like, it was still a significant amount of work. It was like, it looked like Achan's carries that he get, and Achan's ripping off 11, 12 a carry. But this is just, you know, when you're outside the top 32 running backs this many times, you know, it's telling you something. And I'm not saying every one of these was a fair representation of being the starter that week and all that, but I mean, after you do this and then you drop a 30, a 48, a 63, a 17 and 18, a 29, and a 48. Was it 48 at the end? 52 at the end. I mean, this is not a very good.
He had the most yards he had in the game was 80, and besides that, he had 68 yards, which was his next highest yards of the game.
Yeah, and just to put the James Cook, just to put the James Cook debate to bed, because we're going to get a few people that want to talk James Cook. James Cook was running back. What was he? He was running back what last year? He was running back. Where are you, James? So he was running back, I think, between 12 and 13, depending on the scoring, which is a good number, and it's a little bit deceptive. But at the end of the day, you could say, I don't care about that. I care about total points, or if you play in a total point league, you know, there's different arguments. And best ball, like
he's a weird one.
Yeah, best ball, you can have, you know, a similar like debate and say, well, I don't. If he has a bad game, I'll have somebody that will take over for him. But 28, 12, 18, 13. The 12 and 13 aren't horrible, and that's what kind of keeps him in the conversation here. But there's so many games, 35, 33. If you're in best ball, it's kind of okay, because you'll have somebody that will replace him without any sort of like decision being made, and you don't get penalized by it. It's set for you. The lineup is optimal. But when you're talking about a non-best ball, and you get running back 28, running back 35, running back 33, running back 33, running back 31, running back 23 production, you're getting creamed. Not to mention how many people benched him right here during week 7 because they saw him go 35 and 33. I guarantee you he was one of the most benched, high-scoring running backs in week number 7. I almost guarantee you. And then 33, 31, 23. I bet you week 11 he was benched in an extreme amount of leagues coming off of a horrible 3-game stretch there. So the really thing that put him on the map was week 14 and week 15 when he was running back 3 and running back 2. But then what happens? They follow up with 49, 48, and 32.
And then in the championship, he killed
yeah. Running back 48 in the championship game. So the moral of the story here is this: it's like the Bills are going to screw you more than Cook will screw you. Because look at Zach Moss. You got screwed by Zach Moss and Singletary when you owned him as a Buffalo Bill, not because of the player, but because of the team and the usage. So maybe James Cook goes to another team next year, and he ends up lighting it up like Zach Moss did in Indy, or like Singletary did in Houston.
I think he could do well somewhere else, because if you look just at his stats, it's misleading, because he had 1,100 yards, and then through the air he had like 450 receiving yards.
Yeah, that's why he did finish.
He didn't have 3 touchdowns. But.
Yeah, if in best ball he was a great play, because you got top 12 running back numbers in the right spots for him and supplemented the bad games and probably got top 8 running back numbers overall out of 2 players. James Cook and your supplemental player scored you better than top 12 running back numbers in best ball. So he's a much better player to own in best ball than in redraft. Much better. Anytime you have a player that feels inconsistent, so much better to own in best ball.
Yeah, so speaking of inconsistent, where do you think Zay Jones will end up? I mean, he's not like, obviously not for fantasy.
Arizona
but
is the thinking right now.
Is it? That'd be a nice piece for him.
Yeah, I don't mind.
He's a decent piece for a team.
I love him in Arizona. We got rid of Rondell Moore for Ritter, which I think was like asking somebody to kick us right in the sack. It was a stupid decision. And then you get Zay Jones though to replace him. I like that. I still think we should get Ritter out.
Last question on that topic. What do you think of Michael Wilson this year?
I think he's
Being able to settle into that second spot.
Yeah, I think he's a really intriguing football player for football. I like him. Maybe I guess like Curtis Samuel potential at max value for him because I think Marvin Harrison Jr., Benson, McBride. There's a lot of mouths to feed for Wilson to be consistent. Maybe a best ball guy because he could rotate for you without you having to make the decision when he's going to pop off. But I bet you he's very inconsistent. So best ball ownership, sure. Late in the draft, non-best ball, probably hard to own unless it's Dynasty.
It's going to be, for real, like you said, football, like after a football game that he's played. That Cardinals offense is really interesting. They got, with Harrison now, him and Wilson's a big guy too. They got 2 big guys out there.
You mean this team right here?
The stack above all stacks.
Look
it's
at this.
Time to drop the pancake
Kyler,
emojis in
Harrison
live
Jr.,
chat.
Benson, McBride. Oh, it's beautiful. It's never been so exciting to be here in Arizona, man. All the stuff. Can I just say something real quickly? For anybody who wants to complain about their teams and all that, you need to shut your mouth. Okay, close the mouth, shut the trap. The Cardinals, we won a Super Bowl. We went to a Super Bowl. And who was that guy, Frank, that always yelled at me? I don't hold it against the Steelers. I don't even think about it. I don't even remember the Steelers. It takes me to have to sit here and think about, who'd they play? Oh, the Steelers, Antonio Holmes, I remember. Like, I don't care. It doesn't affect anything. But we could have won, should have won that Super Bowl, didn't. Phoenix Suns, you know how many times the Suns have been a good team, capable of winning a title, and we can't? I mean, whether it was back in the day with Barkley, and whether it was back in the day with
you guys have had some rough ones.
Where's my Barkley? I have a Barkley. I have a Barkley autograph over here somewhere. My brother. Let me show you. Let me show you something funny. Let me see if I can find it. I have a Barkley. It's my brother ran into Barkley. I can't find it. It's up here somewhere. Hold on. My brother ran into Barkley when we were little kids, and he's like, my brother, my little brother, my tiny little brother, he loves you. He's so mean to my brother. And he gave him an autograph, and it's on a Pizza Hut card somewhere. I keep it in my studio. I love the Barkley days. I love basketball a lot. Unfortunately, I don't get to follow it like I used to during the season. I wish I could. I just don't have time. I'm all about football. But anyways, what I was going to say is, the Suns had a winning team then. Then we had the Steve Nash team. That was good enough, but didn't do it. Now we have probably the best team the Suns have ever assembled, and we just can't figure it out. We can't get it done. Like, it's been very painful to be a Cardinal and Suns fan. And I'm not a Diamondbacks fan. I hate baseball, to be honest. I know that probably pisses some of you off to hear, but I don't like baseball. To me, it's very boring. I'm very embedded in football anyway. I wouldn't have time. And so I don't get to relish in any of the Diamondback wins or anything. I'm not a bandwagon type of person. So I've enjoyed no championships here in Arizona. And so, it is very, very nice. And I don't think I'm bringing bias to the table. I think I'm genuinely just reacting positively, and I'm along for the ride emotionally as a fan, but with my work hat on, recognizing the Arizona offense as it is, just because I love it as much as I do doesn't make it wrong. It just means, like I said, I'm on the ride, ironically, at the same time as my content mind is saying this is going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, people always think, oh, you're being biased with the like Ron will say, oh, you're being a little biased with the Cardinals. I'm not being, just because I'm overly excited about it doesn't mean it's wrong. You know, I believe the Cardinals are on their way. Whenever you get a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., that is such a gift for a fan base, right? Because you're getting, if you believe him to be maybe the best player in the league potentially in a calendar year from now, you can't take that from us. Like, we have that for so many years. Like, he ain't going anywhere. There's a chance he only plays here. Like, what if I got 15 years of it? Like, I'm just relishing in it right now because we've had nothing. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Suns next year. We talked about this the other night. I don't know if, like, Booker gets traded or something. I don't even know. He's supposed
I
to
think
get
you guys got to get rid of Durant. As unfortunate as it sounds, I think Durant just doesn't win.
I mean, there's rumors about LeBron. They're just rumors, but...
I guess for 1 year you guys could try that. I don't know if I'd want him either. It'd be fun. Durant and LeBron on the same team.
Yeah. The only thing I like about baseball, I know some of you in the chat are laughing at that in a good and a bad way. I go to the baseball games for the food. Like, if Miss Smitty, you know, if we get tickets through something, and we go for like an event for her or something, I'll go. I actually don't mind. I'm like, yeah, we got tickets to the game. Yeah, and I don't watch anything really. I just eat the food and you know, that's kind of fun.
Have a nice park there, right?
Yeah, or especially if
nice
you're in a suite or something, you know, like that's fine because I don't watch the game. I really don't care. I understand baseball. I'm not a imbecile with it. I just don't like it. I don't enjoy it at all. It's something that can put me to sleep very, very easily if I need to. But I don't even know. I don't even know who's the best player in baseball right now. Who's considered to be the top dog?
I mean, Shohei Ohtani, the guy that pitches in, that's the Japanese guy. And
who's the home run hitting monster in the MLB right now? I don't even know.
I mean, Shohei Ohtani, it's like 30, 40 home runs a year.
So he's not juiced up?
No, he's
this ain't Barry Bonds anymore.
He pitches in hits, you know.
This ain't the Barry Bonds days anymore, eh?
Aaron Judge from the Yankees. He's 67.
Yeah, I know who Judge is. I know who Judge is good.
Ronald Acuna from the Braves.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't have time for. Even if I wanted to get into it, I don't have time for it. I just don't. I barely have time to watch like even 50% of the Suns' regular season games. Like I can't even find time. And also think about the moment I walk out of the studio, the last thing I'm going to be able to pull off, given how much time I spend in this cave, is to be able to put on basketball on top of football. Like, cause if I leave here and there's football on, I'm watching it. Like that's part of my job. You know, if I don't watch it in here, it's on all the TVs. And Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, you know, I'm watching football. So like, I can't afford to walk out of these walls and say, let's put on the baseball game too. Like, so even if I wanted to, there's no chance.
I love baseball. I grew up playing it, watching it, everything. But I even have said for years that, you know, they have to make the game faster without screwing up the game. And they've just started to slowly start doing it with pitch clocks and stuff like that. But even still, a fast game is 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes, you know.
All right, Travis.
I understand.
Any final question? I got to get out of here.
Nope. Good to go. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later, bro. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the Suns don't just dismantle everything and we have just Devin Booker only, though. But you see some of these other teams, though, that have like a much more mundane looking squad that just delivers, you know. And here we got these superstars and we got this super team, and they just can't. I mean, I love Durant. I do. I thought him coming here, when people would hate on him and say he'll leave, he'll just break your heart, and he doesn't play good defense, or, you know, it's like now you look at it and it's like I talked myself into thinking Durant was handing me a championship, and he certainly didn't. So depends who they bring in. God, LeBron would be fun, but would we get... I'm not saying it's totally possible, but whoever drafts Bronny probably gets LeBron because he wants to play with his son, but who knows if his son even wants that and ends up not happening. We'll see. All right, guys, appreciate you all. Did I get to these super chats? Have these been... Tell me these haven't been sitting here. Good Lord. I'm sorry. Sir Rupert and Shane, are you guys here? Damn it. I'm sorry, guys. We were arguing when these came in and I forgot. Is Shane here? And is Sir Rupert here? I'm sorry, guys. Sir Rupert says Dowdle is the Kyron of the year. That's an interesting take. I disagree, but it's, you know, bold stuff's fine. I'm not gonna rip on that. You can be bold as you want. I doubt I'll do it, but Dowdle it is. You never know. You never know. I mean, honestly, someone, you know, Kyron had very low value walking into the season, so you never know. But hopefully, Sir Rupert's here. Rupert, I'm sorry, bro, about the delay. I hope he's here. I got to write these down. I'm going to pin these. Sir Rupert. And this is what? 2 minutes and 8 seconds in. 2 minutes and 9 seconds into the stream. I'm going to put Sir Rupert in if he's not here. Rupert, you here? Shane's here. Thank God Shane's here. Shane, I'm sorry, bro. I appreciate your super chat. I hope I didn't discourage you from dropping one. I'm usually really good, at least right now, of getting to him right away now. Somehow these two slipped through. I think it was just yelling at Purdue. It got me off track. Yo, what up, Smitty? At work listening. I got to say that Rice take about becoming a PR stunt for Dallas is a joke. Sorry, not sorry. They're definitely throwing the book at him. It's crazy. Shane, appreciate you. I agree with you. We still like Purdue. Purdue's good people, but Purdue's off his rocker on this one. Absolutely off his rocker. He was off his rocker on the Fields one, too, at the time. Even though he ended up kind of in a way being right. But he was like, when Fields had starter trade value, and he did at that time, it was a crazy idea to have Cousins and Fields paired together. But at the end of the day, you've got Russell Wilson and Fields paired together. But it is very different because Russell Wilson's playing on a $1 million contract. Kirk Cousins is playing on a $100 million contract. Once Fields, this has happened very much later, once Fields ended up not having starter value to the league anymore, that was a whole different month, pretty much, or weeks and weeks later. Then all of a sudden, every team should have gotten their hands on Fields, but it was a different value, but very funny that ended up being similar to what he said. But Purdue, you know, could Purdue be right? Could the NFL, could he somehow skate on this? I don't know. It's certainly possible, but I think the arguing of it is ridiculous. Because the odds of it now, at least as it stands right now, very much against the odds of him playing a full year or even half a year, I think, is if he pleads guilty. Appreciate you, Shane, for dropping the $10 holler. $10 hollers get a moonshot. Poor Rupert. Rupert, where are you, Rupert? Thank you for dropping that, Rupert. I appreciate you, my guy. Sir Rupert to the moon. Shane to the moon. My super chatters to the moon. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all tomorrow. Best one. Let's see. Hoosier says that was one of the best phone combos I've heard on the show. Some people like that. Some people get really irritated. You can't please everybody. You know, there was some caller on saying, next, you know, stop talking about it. Somebody said, move on. And then you got other people like, I love this debate. So it's like, you know, I can't please everybody. But I didn't feel like it was time to move on because I had serious questions about his take. Okay, I appreciate you all. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live when big news breaks. See you later. Deuces. people are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed. Your Bijan card has been revoked.